Let me see. Do you have good audio? I guess. I should hope we do have good audio, no? Let me test that particular aspect. Yeah. So well, very well. Very well then. Without any other thing to add in the way, without nothing more to really say, hello everybody. It has been kind of a long time since our last encounter over here. This is basically on this particular place, or beautiful zone, or beautiful place to do stuff, you know. It has been very beautiful to see how everything has been going. I think we had been having some problems on the sense of, sadly, the potato has to deal with some extra curricular stuff, let's say. So we are not getting as many streams as we can, but at the very least here we are still doing what we enjoy the most. That is today, for example, to continue reading the Mahabharata to the best of our capacities. So as always, hello everybody. Hello beautiful watchers, hello lookers. It seems the bot should be working today, so very amazing. And well, do you have anything to really add? I will say not. I mean, on one of the few interesting things will be to say that the thing that we were working on for the last entire week almost has taken me a lot more time than what I would have expected, because it seems I can't properly export that or save it without losing quality. So I am fighting against fucking Krita destroying the whole file in the process of trying to save it as a proper image. So I don't know. But aside from that, not that much more to add, I will say. I guess, we shall simply move into what is our biggest interest today. That is basically this the Mahabharata thing that we shall continue reading today. As it seems we are given the opportunity once again to progress a little bit more. I wanted to try and add something, but I might have forgotten to do so. I will try the next time to add a timer, because in this particular time slot I don't have that much possibility of going on and on as I would like to. So it will be useful to know how much we can properly say that we're going to be here and what's not. But I don't know. At the very least, we're going to enjoy being here as much as we can until it really arrives the time when we end up unavoidably needing to leave. So going back now into what is our actual concern, the Mahabharata itself. Where did we left last time? Being on the Dyuta Parva, we were seeing basically how the what was their name? Kauravas, I think they were. The Kauravas were getting ready to fight, not to fight, to steal everything from the Pandavas in one of the most interesting plans that has been shown so far. They have a master at dice, basically, a game of dice, and they will try to duel the king of the Pandavas to get from that king everything by basically cheating. Not that much to hide here. They are going to cheat basically, and they are going to remove everything. In the way, we found some interesting concepts, some interesting knowledge as always, and we also had the possibility of seeing how incredibly hard it gets sometimes to analyze what is being said in this particular case by Duryodhana, one of the Kauravas, who, while trying to say a lot of true stuff, also mixes what is his point of view and what is truly not only lies, but rather damaging ideas to the whole side of what is on the other side. Yes, obviously a beneficial concept to have in mind. So now we're simply continuing with this, as I said before, Canto 57, Dyuta Parva continued. So without further ado, as always, we shall simply start. Mahabharata. Now, let me properly start. By Sampayanasa, against his will, ordered by Dharatarashtra, Vidura sets out, taking the finest, swiftest, and strongest horses, steeds that are quiet and patient as well, for the home of Pandu's wise sons. Vidura of lofty intellect rides to Gandhavaprastha and, arriving in Yudhishthira's city, enters it and goes straight towards the palace. Being worshipped by many Brahmanas on the way, coming to that palace, which is even like that sabha of Kubera himself, the virtuous Vidura approaches Yudhishthira Dharmaputra. The illustrious Yudhishthira Ahamida, devoted to Dharma, who is without an enemy in the world, reverently salutes Vidura and asks after Dharatarashtra and his sons. Then Yudhishthira says, "O Kshata, your mind seems cheerless. Do you come here in peace and happiness? I hope the Dharatarashtra's sons are obedient to their old father. I hope the people also are obedient to the Dharatarashtra's rule?" Vidura says, "The illustrious king and his sons are well and happy, and surrounded by his kinsmen. The Dharatarashtra rules even like Indra. The king is happy with his sons, who are all obedient to him, and he has no grief. That great sovereign is bent upon his own aggrandizement. The king of the Gurus commands me to inquire after your peace and prosperity, and he asks you to come to Hastinapura with your brothers to inspect the new palace he has built there, and then say if it is equal to your own. Coming to the city of elephants with your brothers, O son of Pritha, enjoy a friendly game of dice in the new sabha. The other Gurus have all arrived there already, and we shall be glad if you come at once. And there you will see the gamblers and cheats that the illustrious king Dharatarashtra has brought to his home. It is for this, O Rahan, that I have come here. May you hear my king's command." Yudhishthira says, "O Shata, if we sit down to a game of dice, we might well quarrel amongst ourselves. Well knowing this, what men will agree to gamble? What do you think we shall do? We are all obedient to your counsel." Vidura says, "I know that gambling is a root of misery, and I strove to dissuade the king. However, he has sent me to you. Knowing Yudhishthira, keep this in mind and do what you think best." Yudhishthira says, "Besides the Dharatarashtra's sons, what other gamblers are there prepared to play? Who cheats? Who are they, Vidura? Whom we will have to contend with, wagering our wealth in hundreds and thousands?" Vidura says, "Saguni, king of Gandhara, who is a master of dice, whose sleight of hand is legend and whose stakes are extreme. Bhimsati, King Chitrasena, Satyavrata, Purumitra, and Jaya, these Yudhishthira are there." Yudhishthira says, "Ah, it seems that some of the most crooked, skilled, and wild gamblers are there. But, by the will of its maker, the universe is under fate's control. It is not free. Most learned Vidura, I do not wish to gamble at Dharatarashtra's command, for he always wants to benefit only his son. You are our master, O Vidura. You say what I should do. I am loath to gamble, and unless the vile Saguni does not call me to the sabha, I will not do so. However, if he challenges me, I will never decline, for I am so sworn eternally." Having said this, Dharmaraja Yudhishthira orders preparations to be made immediately for his long journey. The next day, with his relatives and attendants, and also taking with him the women of his household, with Draupadi among them, he sets out for the capital of the Gurus. Yudhishthira says, "Fate deprives us of reason, like some brilliant body falling before our eyes, and man, as if bound with a cord, submits to providence. And that Parantapa, justicer of his enemies, goes forth with Kshata, without ever reflecting upon Dharatarashtra's cooling summons. With his brothers, that slayer of hostile heroes, that son of Pandu and Pritha, riding in the chariot given him by the king of Balhika, he goes forth. He wears royal robes. He is, as it were, ablaze with regal splendor. Brahmanas walk before him, as Yudhishthira sets out from his city, summoned by Dharatarashtra and impelled by what time has ordained. Arriving in Hastinapura, he goes to Dharatirashtra's palace. He approaches Bhishma, Drona, Kama, Kripa, Drona's son, and is embraced by them all. The Mahabharata, endowed with immense prowess, comes to Somadatta, then to Duryodhana and Salya, and to the son of Subala, and also to those other kings who have arrived there before him. The Pandava emperor approaches the bold Dusasana, then all his brothers, then Hayadratha, and then all the gurus, one after another. Then, surrounded by his brothers, the mighty Arn One enters the apartment of the wise Dharatirashtra. There Yudhishthira sees the revered Gankari, always obedient to her lord, and surrounded by her daughters-in-law, like Rohini by 10 Nakshatras. Saluting Gankari, being blessed by her in return, Pandu's great son sees his old uncle, that illustrious king, whose wisdom is his eye. The Dharatirashtra sniffs the top of his head, as also the heads of his brothers, the other Kuru princes, Bhimasena's first among them. Rahan, all the Kuru Purushavyagras are delighted to see the handsome Pandavas. Then, at the king's command, the sons of Pandu retire to the lavish chambers given to them, all furnished with jewels and gems. When they are ensconced, the women of the Dharatirashtra's household, Dusala leading them, visit the Pandavas. When the daughters-in-law of the Dharatirashtra see the blazing, awesome beauty of Draupadi Yagnaseni and her incomparable attire and ornaments, jealousy attacks them and they lose their cheer. The Pandavas speak gently to those women. They go through their daily regimen of physical exercise and then perform their daily religious rites, their nitya karma. Finishing their devotions, they anoint their bodies with the most fragrant sandalwood paste, and the Brahmanas chant blessings over them for their good fortune. They now partake on the finest delicacies prepared in the palace, then retire again to their apartments, where they are entertained with music by beautiful women and by other diversions. Happily those subduers of hostile cities pass that night, until they fall asleep. As dawn, bards wake them up with sweet music again. They rise from their beds and perform their morning rituals before coming into the sabha, where they are greeted by those who have already gathered there for the gambling. Okay, I think there was one particular instance of something, well, two passages particularly that were full of something worth of analyzing. The rest, doesn't really have that much of a possibility of being seen, I will guess, or being broken down, at the very least, in such an easy manner. But let me try to find it. Against his will, or that no. Coming to illustrous. Where was it? And what was it at this point? I can't even remember. What? Here. Sorry for losing myself. I guess it happens that when there are so many pages, one kind of has a hard time trying to properly remember where stuff is, you know. But yes, this only. I guess this is the first one, and I will also try to find what was the other passage worth of analyzing. But basically, the first thing was, Vidura says, I know that gambling is a root of misery, and I strove to dissuade the king. However, he has sent me to you. Knowing Yudhishthira, keep this in mind, and do what you think best. Obviously, we always have the particular context of the story itself, that is in this case. Yudhishthira is always someone who tries to trade against his family, because he's always envious of what the Pandavas, as in this case, obviously Yudhishthira does, and is always also capable of believing that the rest of his family needs to not have so many capacity, so many power, and all of those things. In this case, we're also observing that not only the Haratirastra is a menace by this, but also that the concept itself of knowing what is properly good and bad needs to be taken into account. One of the few things that I also think is interesting to see and is interesting to try and comprehend is why, although somebody might know that they are getting into a place where others are prone to cheating, would this particular person still act as if it was necessary for them to take action? In the sense of, you can comprehend that what is happening right now kind of relates to the whole idea of it is always logical to see and to believe that yes, it is true, one should try to do their best, in the sense of, here, first and foremost, I know that gambling is a root of misery, and I strove to dissuade the king. Even somebody as wise as a counselor tries to not allow their highest and most important person, let's say, their king, to do what is unwise. And although somebody of this amount of importance is incapable of doing it, other people still fall for this type of, I wouldn't say trap. Is it a kind of trap? I mean, yeah, for example, in the Mahabharata, something that doesn't happen is, trying to explain it more properly, we don't really have people talking about others doing or not doing what is or isn't related to a greater good or to a greater bad. We only have people acting towards the karma dharma, yama, the wills of the gods, and at best the will of the Asuras, I think they were. Basically, Devas are gods, Asuras are devils. And here, one of the few things that was mentioned is the will of the gods created the game of dice, as in this case, obviously, gambling. So it is kind of hard to comprehend why it is still discouraged to not gamble. It is on the other side, yes, still understandable from the side of it is a very big risk to put yourself against your own family, because you, by trying to play a game of dice, start to believe that others are against you or that others are cheating or anything of that sort. In that sense, there is not that much of a question to see, to analyze, to think about. It rather makes complete sense to notice that, yeah, literally, it needs no explanation whatsoever. That particular part. But the whole rest of the text is, we can still fall for this type of thing, I would say. That is what can be said about all of the concept itself. Because although you notice that stuff of this sort can apply to you, as long as you are not capable of truly avoiding it yourself, it means literally nothing, I would say. Because it doesn't really represent that you comprehend to the complete deepness of it what it is to put yourself at such risk, but rather that you only try to persuade your actions by trying to do what you believe is the most important thing. In this case, I guess, maintain his royal / kingdom, no, king-like reputation. Yudhishthira, the king of the Pandavas, against the who was it? The Haratirastras, so on and all of that, I guess, but it still doesn't really make sense to put yourself at such risk when you know that the possibility of losing everything is incredibly big. But yeah, in that same sense, that is what I was trying to think about, and that is also what I was seeing this particular passage here. Fate deprives us of reason, like some brilliant body falling before our eyes, and man, as if bound with a cord, submits to providence. I think it's okay. First and foremost, before properly continuing, the Mahabharata always talks about what is fate and what isn't fate. And one of the few concepts that gets applied is always the whole universe has a fate, and the whole universe has a will of its own, or not of its own, obviously. It is ruled by the greater goals and all of that. But the shortened version is everything has a will and everything has a fate that they need to fulfill. In this particular case, I think that what might be happening, in a sense of trying to break it down to see a quote-unquote justification for this type of action, is one might say it was bound by fate to happen that I ended up taking this kind of bad decision on my life, although I knew that the consequences were going to be terribly bad. And although I also knew and I was conscious about the big damages that all of that was going to represent to me as an individual, I still decided to act on such an incredibly neglecting will. I try to see it from that side, because on the other side, the Mahabharata itself also talks about things that go against fate and things that prove fate to be wrong. Not every single time, because inside of the Mahabharata there are a lot of stories that contain stuff like somebody predicted the fate of this or decided the fate of this new particular thing, and it was bound to be like that, and unavoidably it was going to be exactly like that, and nobody was going to be capable of doing anything of that sort. Okay, but on other cases, on the minority of them, there is people who is capable of going against their fate and doing things that seem to be completely out of what fate itself has decided for them. In a sense, trying to apply this with what I was talking about is, it isn't always a justifying reason to say this had to happen, let's say, that I had to gamble everything to learn my lesson. It is more like an idea born from the side of I want, or I wish to have an excuse to properly believe that what I am doing is a real justification for my actions. And as long as I find something that minimally falls on that category and minimally gives that sense of logic to what I am saying, I will not even question it, as I do not want on the slightest to make others, or to give the possibility of others to believe that what I am talking about might not really be a real reason. Therefore, I will utilize, I am sorry if it isn't the best way to say it, the excuse of fate, because things happen to me this way, instead of noticing that in this particular example of the story, yes, Yudhishthira could have avoided going to the Dhritarashtra's palace and avoiding conflict and all of the subsequential encounter with Duryodhana by noticing that the initial thing that they already talked about, gambling, was incredibly something negative to do. There literally was no reason whatsoever to try and engage in anything of that sort. Yet they decided to do so. So, in that sense, it is that, once again I say, maybe yes, in some occasions it is true, in some other occasions it isn't even close to being true, that people can find real reasons to justify their actions. So, fate might seem like a proper quote-unquote justification, when in reality it is, on my eyes, I will guess, an excuse. Not every single time. I guess, yeah, fate itself is also kind of weird, because in some cases what already happened is obviously fate, as in, I don't know, what would be a good example? I woke up today, that was fate, let's say like that. Okay, how can you guess or know properly if that is fate or not? Kind of hard, but when it comes to particular actions that an individual decides to take, it is in that moment that one should try to properly assess if you are not living in fate's hand, something that really doesn't make that much sense when analyzed on that perspective, to believe that, wow, everything now is happening because of fate. That is what I am trying to talk about. But anyways, yeah. Let me drink water, and after that we continue. So very well. You are now Canto 58. Vtuber continua. By Sampayana said, Yudhishthira leads his brothers into the Sabha, where they approach the other kings present, worshipping their elders who deserve to be worshipped, saluting the others as each deserves. By age, they seat themselves on fine thrones covered with costly clothes. When they have sat, and also the other kings, Subala's son Sakuni says to Yudhishthira, Rajan, the Sabha is full. We have all been waiting for you. Let the rules of play be decided upon and the dice be cast, Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira replies, deceitful gambling is a sin. There is no Kshatriya prowess in it. There is surely no Dharma in it. Why, then, do you favor gambling so? The wise never approve of the pride that the gamblers take in cheating. Sakuni, do not vanquish us like a wretch with deceit. Sakuni says, the noble player who knows the secrets of winning and losing, who is skilled enough to confound his adversary's deceit, who indeed knows all the subtleties of gambling, he is the true player, and he endures everything which results from gaming. Son of Brita, it is the stakes at dice which might be lost or won that could insure us, and this is why gambling is regarded as a sin. But let us play, O king, and do not fear, or let the stakes be fixed, let us play now. Yudhishthira says, Devala, best of Munis, the son of Asita, who always teaches us all what deeds lead us to heaven, to hell, or to other realms, has declared that it is a sin to play dice with a gambler, for there is deceit in it. You have victory in open battle, with neither cunning nor stratagem. That is a noble sport, but gambling is not. Honorable men never use the language of the Merelechas, nor do they use deceits. War waged without crookedness, and treachery is the way of the honest men. Sakuni, playing with cunning, do not take from us the wealth with which we seek to support Brahmanas. Even enemies must not be vanquished by wild stakes in a game of cheating. I have no wish either to earn wealth or to gain pleasure through vile means. Besides, the way of the gambler, even if he does not cheat, is never lauded. Sakuni says, Yudhishthira, impelled by the desire for victory, which is not an honest motive, one Kshatriya confronts another. So, too, from a desire to prove superiority in learning, does one scholar phrase another in a debate. But these are hardly regarded as being adharma. A skilled dice player confronts one who is less skilled than himself from the desire to vanquish him even as a superior warrior does one of lesser prowess, or a superior man of knowledge does an inferior. At dice too, the strong confront the weak. So, how is the dice player's motive any more or less dishonest? The motive is the same, victory, and in any contention this is so. However, if you still regard dice as being more dishonest than other contests, or if you are afraid, then do not play. Yudhishthira says, I never retreat from a challenge. This is my dharma. Besides, O king, fate is all-powerful and we are all controlled by destiny. Whom shall I play against in this sabha? Who is here who can match my stakes? Let play begin. Duryodhana says, Rajan, I will stake every manner of jewel and gemstone and gold, and this Sakuni, my uncle, will play for me. Yudhishthira says, I believe that this is unlawful for one man to play for another, and you also, learned cousin, will grant this. However, if you still wish it, let play begin. Yeah, I think there is one or two proper critiques to all of this, and that is, we can finally see and comprehend what it means to have so much power and so much responsibility in our hands that we start to believe we should always defend our title, let's say, because in this case, what might be the easiest thing to take out is Yudhishthira, as in the king of the Pandavas, as in the one who is going to lose this bet, decided to risk everything that he had for the sake of maintaining his titles, keeping his name clean, something like that. something that in reality might as well make no sense whatsoever, and that truly has no necessity of being done. On one hand, on the other, what also happens is, I guess, not, yes, sorry, I guess it is still true that the different parts at play in all of these events still comprehend that what things are literally the worst and that they should not be done, and they still desire to act upon this knowledge. So, I will say probably the most understandable way to see this is the fall of the hero, or the considered fall of the hero, because taking into account that the Pandavas have had like how much at this point 50% of the book or so dedicated to their stories, and the third or fourth fall of their hero journey, basically. So yeah, basically that's, I guess. But well, we might as well simply continue. Not that much more to add. Well, no, there was something that I think I saw. Let me try to think. What is it? Yeah. This I was thinking about it because I didn't really, or not that I didn't really comprehend it. It appeared in my mind. This. I don't. Sadly, I have to accept that I don't comprehend what it means when it says honorable men never use the language of the Melelechjas. I don't remember reading about it, nor I comprehend what is it trying to talk about. But what is important is the next part. Nor do they use deceits. War waged without crookedness and treachery is the way of the honest man. Saguni, playing with cunning, do not take from us the wealth with which we seek to support our Hamanas. Even enemies must not be vanquished by wild stakes in a game of cheating. That is the particular part that I was thinking about. And in another similar manner, this another not that much of a different passage. To have victory in open battle with neither cunning nor stratagem, this is a noble sport, but gambling is not. I was thinking, and most of the time, this doesn't really even apply to this own story, you know? These different kings and the different strategies and all of that don't really seem to be subjected to what they themselves try to talk about, in a sense, because it is true that I see it as true one should try to play without doing any amount of cheating whatsoever, because in a particular way you can try to justify all the future events that are going to lead to the downfall, not only of the Duryodhana family and the Daharatirashtra family and all of that, but to the whole Kshatriya existence, because that is what was already predicted. But you can try to say that the consequence of trying to change, not change, simply to cheat on reality itself, is what ends up making it all be what it is. As in, there is always this knowledge of you shouldn't try to lie, not because lying isn't easy, kind of the opposite, lying is always one of the easiest things to do, but rather because lies always end up being shown to you, and not only to you, to reality itself, and end up being revealed to others as what they are, simply a lie. So, what can be comprehended is, yes, once again, this knowledge of trying to go for the path of the lies is literally not going to bring you anything good, and obviously you're going to not gain anything honorable from it, as you also have to, for example, one of the few ways that is supposedly quote unquote achievable to live in life is to keep lying every single time that you have the possibility for the sake of never letting the lies that you were building up before catch up to the new ones that you keep building. But still in those cases it doesn't really apply to you, that you can keep your whole life avoiding them. The moment in which you commit one single error, the whole rest of architecture of lies that you build around yourself is going to fall apart and is going to almost consume what you already have. Let's say like that. But yeah, all of this, what I was trying to go for is, it still seems to be kind of weird, because in a sense, kind of conflicts with what they themselves are talking about. One shouldn't try to do things that are bad, in this case too. As in, one shouldn't try to play a game of dice, yet they do so. So yeah, I don't know. I guess once again we find knowledge that seems, what is the other proverb? Do what I say, not what I do, basically that. Because yeah, it is true that lying and cheating is never really useful, but not applying that knowledge is the same as not even knowing it, I guess. But yeah, we might as well simply continue. Canto 59. Duta Parva continued. By Sampayana said, when play begins, all the kings present, the Haradriastra their head, taking their places in that Sabha, O Mahabharata, Bhishma, Drona, and Kripa and the Vidura Mahatman sit at the back with forlorn heads. The other kings, their necks like those of lions, endowed with mighty power, sit singly or in pairs upon lofty seats of wonderful make and hue. Rahan, that assembly is as splendid as heaven, with a conclave of the Devas of great fortune, and they all know the Devas. They are valiant and radiant of countenance, and, O great king, the friendly match at the dice then begins. Yudhishthira says, here is my stake, this string of invaluable pearls set in gold, and exquisite, which was once churned up from the ocean of old. What is your stake with which you will match mine and play against me? Duryodhana says, I have many jewels and great wealth, but I am not vain because of them, he tells Sakuni, with his pearl uncle. Then Sakuni, master of the game, takes up the dice, and, casting them perfectly, says to Yudhishthira, I have won! Yeah, not that much to add. We are entering this directly. Canto 60. Duta Parva continued. Yudhishthira says, you have won this wager unfairly, but do not bring, Sakuni. Let us raise the stakes to thousands upon thousands. I have many beautiful shards in my treasury, each one full of 1,000 nishkas. I have gold past exhausting, and silver and other precious metals, O king. I will wager all this wealth with you. Sakuni says to the eldest Pandava, Yudhishthira, whose glory can sustain no diminution, look, I have won. Yudhishthira says, my sacred and triumphant royal chariot, which delights the heart and has borne us here, which is equal to 1,000 chariots, which is perfectly wrought, covered with tiger skin, which has immaculate wheels and flagstaff, which is beautiful, decked with strings of little bells, whose sound clatters like the roar of thunderheads or the ocean, which is drawn by 8 noble steeds, renowned through the land, white as moonbeams, whose hooves no earthly creature can escape. This, O Rahan, is my next wager with you. Sakuni throws the dice, deceitfully, with sure sleight of hand, and says to Yudhishthira, Lo, I have won. Yudhishthira says, I have 100,000 serving girls, all young, and adorned with golden bracelets on their wrists and arms, with necklaces of nishkas around their necks and other ornaments, wearing priceless garlands, rich robes, anointed with sandalwood paste, wearing jewels and golden ornaments, skilled in the 64 elegant arts, especially versed in singing and dancing, who wait upon and, at my command, serve the Devas, the Snatakas Brahmanas and kings. This wealth my next stake. Sakuni hears this, and ready with his crafty dice, rolls, and says to Yudhishthira, I have won. Yudhishthira says, I have thousands of serving men, skilled at waiting upon guests, always wearing silken robes, blessed with wisdom and intelligence, young but their senses restrained, and decked in golden earrings, who serve all my guests night and day with plates and dishes in hand. This wealth I wager. Sakuni, ready with his loaded dice, says to Yudhishthira, I have won. Yudhishthira says, son of Subala, I own 1,000 elephants with golden girdles and other ornaments, with the mark of the lotus upon their temples, necks and other parts, adorned with golden garlands, with white tusks long and thick as plough shafts, worthy of bearing kings on their backs, which can bear every dread sound of battle. Their bodies huge, which can batter down the walls of enemy cities. Their color of freshly formed clouds, and each possessing 8 cow-elephants. This wealth I wager, O king, Subala's son Sakuni, rolling the dice, love. Yudhishthira, I have won your elephants. Yudhishthira says, I have as many chariots as elephants, all fitted with golden poles and flagstaff, trained horses and warriors who fight magnificently, each receiving 1,000 coins as his monthly wage, whether he fights or not. This wealth I wager, Rahan. When these words have been said, the vile Sakuni, sworn to enmity, rolls the ivory dice, and says to Yudhishthira, I win. Yudhishthira says, when Arjuna vanquished him in battle, Chitraratha joyfully gifted my brother, who wields the Gandiva horses of Titiri, Kalmasha and Gandharva breeds, all decked in unearthly ornaments. This wealth, Rahan, I wager. Sakuni, master cheat, says to Yudhishthira, I have won. Yudhishthira says, I have 10,000 chariots and carriages yoked to the finest draught animals. I have 60,000 broad-chested warriors, all valiant and heroic, handpicked from the rest of my forces, all fed on milk and fine rice. This wealth, O king, is my stake. Sakuni, ready, always cheating, says to Yudhishthira, I have won. Yudhishthira says, I have 400 nidhis, jewels of incomparable value, in caskets of copper and iron. Each one is worth 5 draunikas of the most pure and expressing leaf gold of the Hatarupa variety. This wealth, O king, shall be my wager. Sakuni, ready with his cunning dice, always cheating at the roll, says to Yudhishthira, I have won. Canto 61. Dutaparva continued. By Sampayana said, while the ruler's gambling is underway, Vidura, the speller of doubts, says to the Dhritarashtra, great king of the race of Mahabharata, listen to what I have to say, though my words might not be agreeable to you, even like bitter medicine to a man who is ill and dying. When this evil-minded Duryodhana howled abysmally like a jackal soon after he was born, we knew that he would fetch destruction upon the race of Mahabharata. Rahan, not that he will be the cause of the death of all of you. A jackal lives in your house, and he has the form of Duryodhana, but in your dotage you do not realize it. You do not know what the consequences of your folly will be. Listen to what Sukrakavi said. They who gather honey on mountains take what they desire but do not notice that they are about to fall, climbing perilous heights, distracted by their avid pursuit. They fall and die like the honey gatherer. This Duryodhana also is maddened by this game of dice, and is not mindful of the dire consequences that will visit him, making enemies of these great Kshatriyas. He does not notice the certain fall to death which lies before him. You will know, O king of much wisdom, that the Bohas abandon an unworthy son for the sake of their people. The Anhakas, the Yadavas, and the Bohas, uniting, abandon Kamsa. Later, when, at their very command, Krishna Parantapa killed Kamsa, all the men of those tribes began joyfully for a full 100 years. Even so, at your command, let Arjuna kill this Suryodhana, and let the Kurus rejoice at the death of this sinful wretch, and pass their days in joy, in exchange for a crow. O great king, boy these peacocks, the Pandavas, in exchange for a jackal, bull these tigers. For the sake of a family, one of its members can be sacrificed. For the sake of a village, a family might be sacrificed. For the sake of a province, a village might be sacrificed. And for the sake of one's own soul, the whole earth can be sacrificed. This is what the omniscient Sukra himself, who knows the thoughts of every creature, who is a terror to all his enemies, said to the great Ashuras to persuade them to abandon Shambha at the moment of his birth. I have heard that once a king kept a flock of wild bears in his house because they vomited gold from their beaks and later killed them. O Parantapa, blinded by temptation and the lust for pleasure, for the sake of gold that king destroyed both his present and future gains. Rahan, do not, like the king in the tale, persecute the Pandavas from your lust for wealth, for this blind folly will make you repent surely later, just like the one who killed the birds, like a flower seller who, over long years, plucks countless flowers from the trees in his garden, which he nurtures carefully. You also pluck flowers gently from the Pandavas daily, O Mahabharata. Do not burn them at the roots like a fairy wind, which makes black char of all things. O king, do not go to the realm of Yama with your sons and all your soldiers, for who is there in this world who can defeat the sons of Prita in battle? Why speak of the rest? Can the king of the Devas himself contain them? Okay, yeah, obviously, warning, quote-unquote warning, danger ahead, nothing more to add. Brilliant, I guess. Obviously, finally, the downfall of the whole kingdom, I guess. Canto 62, Duta Parva continued. Vidura says, gambling is the root of dissension. It fetches deep rifts. Its consequences are dreadful, yet Duryodhana creates terrible enmity for himself with what he is doing. The descendants of Pratipa and Santanu, with all their valiant troops and their allies, the Valikas, will be destroyed for Duryodhana's sin. Duryodhana is drunk with avarice, and he will force fortune and prosperity out of this kingdom, like an angry bull breaking its own horns. The brave and alert man who ignores his own foresights and follows the bent of another's dark heart is plunged into dreadful calamity, rather as a man who goes out to sea in a boat guided by a child. Duryodhana is gambling with the son of Pandu, and you are in raptures that he is winning. And it is such success which begets war and ends in the death of men. This gambling which you have so cunningly abetted can only lead to dire disaster. Your heart is dark and sick, Rahan, and it is death that you guard. Yudhishthira is so closely related to you, and even if you do not foresee the extent of the damage which will be done, you are still an accomplice in it. It has your approval. Oh, listen, you sons of Shantanu, you sires of Paratipa, who now sit in the Sabha of the Kauravas, to these words of wisdom. Do not walk into these dreadful flames which blaze forth, following this vile wretch Suryodhana. When Ajatasatru, the son of Pandu, now intoxicated with dice, gives in to his anger, when Brikodara and Arjuna and the twins do, who will be your refuge in that terrible hour? Great king, you are already a mine of wealth yourself, and you can earn as much more as you want to by this gambling. But what will you gain by taking the immense wealth of the Pandavas from them, when you can win over the sons of Pandu themselves, who will be far more valuable to you than all they own? We all know the mastery of Subala's son at dice, for this hill king knows numberless ways to cheat at gambling. Let Sakuni go back to where he came from. Oh, Mahabharata, do not seek enmity with Pandu's son. There was such absence that they forgot to close commas. Canto 63. Jita Parva continued. Duryodhana says, Sharta, you are always praising our enemies and disparaging the sons of Daharatirastra. We know, O Vidura, of whom you are truly fond, for you never think of us as your own children. A man wishes for the success of those that are dear to him, and the defeat of those whom he does not love. His praise and blame are accordingly given. Your tongue and your mind betray your heart. Yet the hostility which you show with your words is even greater than what is in your heart. We have nurtured and cherished you like a serpent in our lap, like a cat. You wish evil upon those that keep you. The wise have said that there is no graver sin than harming one's master. How is it, O Shata, that you do not fear this sin? By vanquishing these enemies of ours, we have gained great advantage. Speak not harshly of us, and always be so willing to make peace with the enemy. A man becomes an enemy by speaking inexcusably of another, and this is how you have come to detest us, always. Also, while praising an enemy, one must never divulge the secrets of those that are one's own, but you willingly break this law. Why do you come in our way? Oh, parasite! You say whatever you like. Do not insult us. We know your heart. Go sit at the feet of the old and the sage and learn more wisdom. Maintain the great repute which you have won for yourself. Do not meddle in the affairs of other men. Do not imagine that you are our lord. Do not dare speak cruelly to us always, O Vidura, for we do not ask you what is good for us. Stop now. Do not annoy those who have already borne too much from you. There is only one Lord, no second. He controls even the child that is in its mother's womb. I am ruled by him, like water, which always flows downwards. I am doing precisely what he wants me to do. He who breaks his head against a stone wall and he who feeds a serpent are moved by their own minds. He becomes an enemy who seeks to control others through force. When advice is offered in the spirit of friendship, the wise listen and tolerate it. Who sets camphor alight does not even see its ashes, not if he runs to put it out. One should never shelter a man who is a friend to one's enemies, or a man who is always envious of his protectors, and whose mind is thus full of evil. So, Vidura, go wherever you please. However well treated in her duties, an unchaste wife will abandon her husband. What? Vidura says to the Dharatirashtra, O king, tell us, as an impartial witness, what do you think of those who abandon their servants so for giving them counsel? Truly, the hearts of kings are fickle. They first give you protection, then finally strike you down with a bludgeon. Duryodhana, you think that you have a mature intellect, and, evil prince, you think that I am a child, but note that he is the child who first accepts a man for his friend, and then finds fault with him. An evil-hearted man can never be brought to the path of Dharma, just like an unchaste wife in the house of a well-born husband. Surely, being advised is as disagreeable to this Bharata as a husband of 60 years is to a young woman. After this, O king, if you want to hear what is pleasing to you at all times, regardless of what you do, good or bad, go and ask women, idiots, cripples, or similar folks to speak to you. And a sinful man speaking agreeable words is easy to find in this world, but a man who speaks the truth, whether it be pleasing or distasteful, and the man who listens to him are both rare indeed. A king's true ally is his man who speaks dharma to his master, regardless of whether what he says pleases him or not. Great king, drink the drink called humility, which honest men imbibe and evil ones soon, which is like bitter medicine, pungent, burning, distasteful, revolting, on which you cannot get drunk. Drinking it, regain your sobriety. I always wish the Dharatirashtra and his sons prosperity and fame. Whatever now happens to you, I bow to you. Let the Brahmanas here wish me well, O son of Kuru. This is the lesson that I teach with care. The wise should never anger snakes like cobras, which have venom in their very glances. I guess, yeah, I kind of hard to stop here, because it gets very interesting, or not that it gets, we're literally the most interesting part so far. So, yeah, we're only going to say this. This part is completely true. Let's say like that. Nothing more to really add. Great king, drink the drink called humility, which honest men imbibe and everyone's shown, which is like bitter medicine, pungent, burning, distasteful, revolting, on which you cannot get drunk. Drinking it, regain your sobriety. Nothing more to add. True, let's move on because we have more to read. Let's see if they are killed now or later. Because yeah, somebody's going to die. And I don't know when, but I know it is going to happen. Canto 64. Vtuber continues. Sakuni says, Yudhishthira, you have lost a lot of the wealth of the Pandavas. If you still own anything which you have not lost, Kaunteya, tell us what it is. Yudhishthira says, Son of Subala, I own untold wealth. Why do you speak to me of wealth, Sakuni? Wizard lakhs and crores of crores of crores and Arabs of Arabs, and I will match your stake. I have as much. With that wealth, king, I will play with you. Sakuni, ready with his loaded dice, always cheating, says to Yudhishthira, I have won. Yudhishthira says, Son of Subala, I have uncountable cattle and horses, and milch cows with calves, and goats and sheep in the lands that extend from the Parnasa to the eastern bank of the Sindhu. With this wealth, O king, I will play. Sakuni, ready with his loaded dice, always cheating, says to Yudhishthira, I have won. Yudhishthira says, I have my city, my country, land, the wealth of all who live there, other than the Brahmanas, and all those people themselves except the Brahmanas who will remain with me. With this wealth, O king, I will play with you. Sakuni, ready with his loaded dice, always cheating, says to Yudhishthira, I have won. Yudhishthira says, King, this princess here, resplendent in the royal ornaments, earrings, and nishkas, are now my wealth. This wealth, Rahan, I will wager with you. Sakuni, ready with his loaded dice, always cheating, says to Yudhishthira, I have won them already. Play! Yudhishthira says, this Nakula, mighty arm, his neck a lion's, his eyes red, youthful, I wager. Know him to be my wealth. Sakuni says, O Yudhishthira, Nakula is dear to you. He is already your subject. Who will you wager next? Saying this, Sakuni casts his dice and says to Yudhishthira, we have won him. Yudhishthira says, this Sahadeva administers justice. He has gained great renown through the world for his learning. He does not deserve to be my wager. Yet, with such a dear one I will play you, though I fervently wish that I did not. Sakuni, ready with his loaded dice, always cheating, says to Yudhishthira, I have won him, O king. I have won both Madri's son, so dear to you. It seems that Bhimasena and Dhananjaya are too dear for you to wager. Yudhishthira cries, wretch! You want me to make dissension among those that are one at heart? You ignore Dharma, serpent. Sakuni says, he who is drunk falls into a pit and stays there, unable to move. Yudhishthira, you are older than the Kauravas and have the highest accomplishments. Oh, Mahabharata Reshapa, I bow to you. You know, Yudhishthira, that while in the grip of the game, gamblers rave as they never do otherwise, awake or even in their dreams. Yudhishthira says, he who bears us like a boat across the sea of battle, he who always triumphs over his enemies, this prince of mighty vigor, this greatest Kshatriya in the world, this Falguna, who does not deserve this, I wager against you. Sakuni, ready with his loaded dice, always cheating, says to Yudhishthira, I have won. This greatest bowman, the son of Pandu, who is perfectly ambidextrous in his archery, I have won. Now, Pandava, stake your remaining wealth, your beloved brother Bhima. Yudhishthira says, King, however undeserving he is of becoming my wager, I will play against you with Bhimasena as my stake. This prince who is our leader, who is the mightiest warrior, who is even like the Mahradhari, the single enemy of the Danavas, himself, this high-souled one of leonine neck, his brows arched, his eyes looking askance, who brooks no insult ever, who has no equal on earth for strength who is the greatest among all mace wielders, this grinder of his enemies. Sakuni, ready with his loaded dice, always cheating, says to Yudhishthira, I have won. Kaunteya, you have lost great wealth, horses, elephants, and your brothers as well. Tell us if you have anything which you have not lost yet. Yudhishthira says, I alone, eldest of all my daughters, and precious to them, remain unwon. If you win me, I will do whatever I must. Sakuni, ready with his dice, cheating, casts them and says to Yudhishthira, I have won. You have let yourself be won, and that is a sin, for you still have well left to lose. O Rahan! Sakuni, master of dice, boasts to the king's gathered of how he has won all the Pandavas. Subala's son then says to Yudhishthira, O king, there remain one possession dear to you, which is still unwon, Este Krishna, princess of Panchala, and through her win yourself back. Yudhishthira says, Draupadi is neither too short nor tall, nor lean or fat, and her tresses are blue and wavy, her eyes are like the leaves of the autumn lotus, and she is fragrant, also as the autumn lotus, and her beauty equal to Lakshmi, who delights in the lotuses of autumn. Her form is as perfect as that of Sri herself, as in her grace. She is a woman that any man will want for his wife, for the softness of her heart, for the wealth of her beauty and her virtues. She owns every accomplishment. She is compassionate and sweetly spoken. Truly, she is a woman whom a man might want for his wife, for with her he could indeed have great dharma, artha and kama. She goes to bed last of all and wakes first. She cares for everyone, down to the shepherds and cowherds. Ah, when her face is filled with sweet, she looks like the lotus or the jasmine. Her waist is as slender as a wasp's, her locks long and flowing, her lips red, and her body without so much as down. This is the Princess Panchali. I wish this slender-waisted Draupadi to play against you, son of Subala. When Yudhishthira Dharmapudra says this, cries of fear are heard from all the elders in that sabha. The entire conclave grows distraught, and the kingster yields to grief. Bhishma, Drona and Kripa are bathed in perspiration. Vidura holds his head between his hands and sits like one who has lost his reason. He sits face turned down, plunged in despair, seething like a snake. But Dharatirashtra is glad and asks repeatedly, Has the stake been won? Has the stake been won? And he cannot hide his excitement. Kama, Dusasana, and some others laugh aloud, while tears flow down the faces of everyone else in the sabha. And Subala's son, flushed with success, cries again and again, I have won your precious stake! He picks up the dice and flicks them into the air in evil excitement. Canto 65. Yuddha Parva continued. Duryodhana says, Shata, go and fetch the Pandava's most beloved wife Draupadi here. Let her sweep the chambers, force her to, and let the unfortunate woman live among our serving women. Vidura cries, Don't you know, O wretch, that with these words you are tying a noose around your neck? Don't you realize that you are hanging over the edge of a cliff? Being a deer yourself, dare you provoke so many tigers to anger? Snakes of deadly venom, stirred to fury, are upon your head. Vile Duryodhana, do not provoke them further, lest you go straight to Yama's land. I said that no slavery attaches to Krishna, because Yudhishthira staked her after he lost himself and ceased to be his own master. The Dharatirashtra's son weighs treasure at dice, even like the bamboo which fruits only when it is about to die. Intoxicated, he does not see in his final moments the enmity and terrors that this gambling brings. No man should speak so viciously and pierce the hearts of others. No man should subdue his enemies through dice and other contemptible methods. No one should speak such harsh words, of which the Vedas disapprove, and which wounds others and leads one straight to hell. One speaks cruelly, and stands by his words, and uttereth day and night, for such words pierce the very heart. So the wise man never lets fly these barbs from his lips, aiming them at anyone. Once a goat swallowed a hook, and when the hook pierced it, the hunter set the animal's head upon the ground and dropped the hook out, rending its throat fearfully. Duryodhana, the Pandavas' weight is a similar hook. Do not swallow it and imperil yourself. Do not make enemies of them. Pritason never speaks such savage word. Only base men, who are like dogs, use such speed, and towards all classes of men, Manaprastas, Grihastas, Sannyasis, and Muktas. Alas, the Dharatarashtra's sons does not know that dishonesty is one of the dreadful doors which leads into hell. Alas, that so many of the Kurus, Dusasana among them, followed him eagerly down the path of Adharma in this game of dice. Gourds might sink at stone, and stones float. Boats might also sink in water, always, but this foolish king, the Dharatarashtra's son, will not listen to what I say, which might save him. I have no doubt that he will cause the destruction of the Kurus. When friends and well-wishers speak words of wisdom, and these go unheeded, and when, rather, only temptation waxes, devastation is bound to overtake all the heirs of Kuru. When is going somebody to fucking die? I want to see that already happening, please. Can I see when that is going to happen, my man? Let me see. Let me spoil myself a little bit. Okay. The different songs start to talk in this upcoming canto. How much time do I have left? Okay, we finish this canto and we leave it here. At night, we're continuing with this. Oh, fucking god. Canto 66. Dyuta para continual. By Sampayana said, drunk with pride, the Dharatarashtra's son hisses, fire on you, Shata, and his gaze moving to Pratikamin in attendance. In the midst of all those revered elders, command that man, go, Pratikamin, and fetch Draupadi here. You have no fear of the sons of the Pandavas. Vidura raves because he is afraid. Besides, he never wishes for our prosperity. The Pratikamin, a man of the Sutta caste, hears the words of the king and hurries to the apartments of the Pandavas, and entering like a dog, a lion's den, approaches the queen of the sons of Pandu. He says, Yudhishthira became intoxicated with dice plays. Draupadi and Duryodhana has won you, so come now to the Dharatarashtra's palace. I will take you there and put you to some menial task. Draupadi says, Pratikamin, what are you saying? Which Kshatriya will wager his wife at dice? Surely Yudhishthira was drunk with the play. Could he find nothing else to stake? The Pratikamin says, when he had nothing else to stake, Pandu's son, Ajatasattu, staked you. He first wagered his brothers, then himself, and at last you, O queen. Draupadi says, Oh, Sutaputra, go and ask the gambler in the Sabha if he lost himself first or me. After that come back here, and I will go with you. The messenger returns to the court and repeats what Draupadi said for all to hear. He says to Yudhishthira, sitting among the kings, Draupadi asks you, whose lord were you? Were you when you lost me at the dice? Did you lose yourself first or me? But Yudhishthira sits like a man demented, one who has lost his reason, and makes no reply to the sutta, good or ill. Then Duryodhana says, let the Panchala princess come here and ask her question. Let all in the Sabha listen to the exchange between Yudhishthira and her. Obedient to Duryodhana's command, though himself distrained, the messenger returns to the palace and says to Draupadi, Princess, did summon you to the Sabha. It seems the end of the Kurus has drawn near. When Duryodhana orders you to appear in the court, who will that witless king save his fortunes? Draupadi says, the great ordainer of the world has decreed that joy and misery attend on both the wise and the witless equally. Yet it is told that Dharma is the one highest thing in this life, which, if cherished, will surely bless us. Let the Kauravas not abandon Dharma now. Go back to the Sabha and tell them what I have said about Dharma. I am prepared to do what the wise elders of the court, men that know Dharma well, tell me to. The Sutta returns to the court and repeats Yagnaseni's word, but no one says anything. They all sit with their faces turned down, for they know the last and result of the Dharatarashtra's son. However, O Bharatariṣabha, Yudhishthira sends his own trusted messenger to Draupadi, ordering her to appear. even if crying bitterly before her father-in-law, the Zarathustra. Though she wore but a single piece of cloth upon her body, and her navel was exposed, for she has her period. That intelligent messenger, Aurahan, goes quickly through the body chambers and gives her Yudhishthira a message. Meanwhile, the stricken Pandavas cannot decide what they should do. Duryodhana, his heart bursting with joy, lets his eyes range over them, and says to the Sutta, Paratikaming, fetch her here. Let the Kauravas answer her question to her face. Bound by her master's command, yet terrified of Draupadi's wrath, the Sutta masters the courage to address the Sabha again. What shall I say to Krishna? Duryodhana says, Dusasana, the son of my Sutta, of little intelligence, fears Bhima. So, my brother, go yourself and bring Panchali here, by force if need be. Our enemies now depend on our will. They belong to us. What can they do to you? Dusasana rises, his eyes blood red, stalks into the apartments of the Pandavas, and says to Draupadi, Come, O Krishna, princess of Panchala, we have won you. O you whose eyes are as big as lotus leaves, you must now accept the Gurus for your new lords. You have been won fairly. Come now to the Sabha. Hearing him, Draupadi, trembling, jumps up in anguish, covers her face, gone pale with her hands in distress, and runs towards the Zarathustra's Antapura, where the women of this household are roaring. Dusasana runs after her and seizes that queen by her tresses, so long and blue and wavy. Alas, those locks that had been sprinkled with holy water during the great Rajasuya and sanctified with mantras, the Zarathustra's feral son now seizes, forgetting the prowess of the Pandavas, by her hair, and he drags Krishna into the Sabha, while she shakes like a banana plant during a storm. Hauled along by him, she cries, Wretch, it degrades you to take me like this before the Sabha. I have my period, and I am wearing just a single cloth. But Dusasana drags Panchali mercilessly, while she prays in despair to Krishna and Shishnu, who are Nara Narayana upon the earth. He roars at her, Whether you have your period or not, whether you wear a single cloth or are naked, you have been won at dice, and you will live among our serving women. Her hair in disarray, half her single clothes come loose, modest Panchali, dragged into the Sabha, consumed by rage, protests weakly, In this Sabha are great men, all equal to Indra, men who know all the Shastras, who devotedly perform yagnas, some of whom know all the Shastras. What? Some of whom are truly my superiors and others who deserve to be revered as such. I cannot stay before them in this state. Vile, cruel wretch, do not drag me like this. Do not uncover me so. My husbands will not forgive you, not if Indra and all the Devas be your allies. Dharma Deva's son is bound now by the dictates of Dharma. But Dharma is subtle, and only men who have great clearness of vision can know it. I will not blame my lord with a word to say that he has broken Dharma by an atom. Oh, you have dragged me before these Kuru heroes when I am in my season, and this is surely a great sin. Yet no one here rebukes you. Surely they are of the same mind as you. Oh, truly, the Dharma of the Maharatas is lost. Truly, the Dharma of the Kshatriya is gone. Else the Gurus in this Sabha will never silently look on at this vile thing which you have done. Oh, Drona and Bhishma have lost their Tehas, and so has the renowned Kshata, this king. Otherwise, why do these greatest of Kuru elders look silently on this great crime? See, so does Krishna of the slender waist wail out her anguish in that Sabha. She looks at her already angry lords with her teary eyes, and inflames them further with that glance of hers. They are not so distressed at having been robbed of their kingdom, their wealth, or their costly jewels, as by that look from Krishna moved by modesty and rage. Dusasana sees her gaze at her husband and drags her more roughly still, crying, Slave! Slave! While he laughs aloud. Kama hears him and laughs loudly as well, and Subala's son Sakuni and Harakim applauds Dusasana. What's all else in that sabha, other than these three and Duryodhana, are filled with sorrow, as in Krishna dragged about coarsely in sight of everyone. Bhishma says, Blessed one, Dharma is subtle, and I feel myself unable to answer your question with any certitude. For though it is true that he who has lost himself owns nothing anymore, yet a wife is always at the disposal of her husband. Yudhishthira will renounce the whole world with all the wealth he needs, but he will never abandon Dharma. The son of Pandu said, I am lost, and so I cannot decide this thing. Sakuni has no equal among men at dice play. Still, Kanti's son played willingly against him. Yudhishthira himself does not think that Sakuni cheated. No, I cannot decide this matter. Draupadi says, my king was summoned to the sabha. My king was summoned to the sabha, and though he has no skill at dice, he was made to play against a masterly, base, deceitful, and desperate gambler. How can you say that he played willingly, acting in cohort? His wretched, sinful once deprived Pandu's eldest son of his reason and then vanquished him. At first, he did not suspect their motives, but now he has understood. Here in this sabha are Kuru elders who are lords of both their sons and their daughters-in-law. Let them all think about what I say, and then answer my question of Dharma. Krishna suspiciously, looking from time to time at her helpless husbands, while Dusasana says many cruel, vile things to her, seeing her dragged thus into the sabha during her period, with her single clothes come loose, seeing her in that stage, which she little deserves, Bhima is stirred beyond endurance, and looking straight at Yudhishthira, gives way to fury. And I am not going to read anymore. Here is literally where we're going to live, because cliffhangers. Haha. Man, finally. Somebody's going to die. I guess. I'm curious to know if it is going to really happen or not, but I should contain myself too. So yeah, this is it for now. No more reading, no more nothing. Everybody, thanks for being here. Thanks for, as always, for looking, for watching, for every single part of this. But I guess, yeah, nothing more to really add. My man, what a crazy story. Finally, we were reaching what we read so long ago, and we're going to see what happens next. Hello, Tomatir. Kind of sorry to tell you, my man, but we're closing this stream, my man. Yes, goodbye. This is your shot. Sorry for not staying much longer, but yes, things are going to happen. So yeah. Anyways, as always, thanks for being here. Thanks as always, and well, I guess we will get to enjoy some more beautiful things in the future. Nature, yeah, thank you, my man. Another beautiful nature router. Very nice to see. So well, as always, thanks for being here, thanks for looking, thanks for watching the world, thanks for everything. Now we're going to leave, I guess. And yeah, whenever we have the next possibility, we're going to continue reading this, basically in some hours. But yeah, until then, remember to stay safe, remember to stay nice, and goodbye, everybody. And at the very least, if it doesn't happen, at least we were happy with what we did now. Now, yeah. Ciao.